Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Commander, good evening. Realist, good evening. Uh, so tonight, you know, I was thinking about those people, who was affected by the hurricane this morning or afternoon. The first people that come to mind is, the YouTubers, Tay Eats and Antisocial. I'm glad that they're both okay. They've both spoken. They've both been cleared of minor damages from the storm, right? But that's a natural disaster in life that, and it was sprung upon them. But I'm asking everybody today, are you okay during your storm? Now, when I say storm, we all have an everyday life. We all have trials and tribulations in said lives. But there are some of us that's going through a storm, even as my words are being spoken right now, right? So the question is for those people, are you okay? Are you allowing yourself to be receptive of the help? Bronze, good evening. Of the help and things of that nature that you may need, right? The storms I'm talking about is not a hurricane or a tornado, but it may be doing just that or maybe performing as such in your life. You know, so many of us are so proud and allow our egos to get in the way that we'll sit in the storm worried like all outdoors. CC, good evening. We'll be worried about we'll be worried so much that we won't even ask for a rescue mission to be done for us. We won't even allow a person to ask us, are we okay? Right? Why is that? Why do we have so much pride that we will allow the rescue mission, the rescue boats, the rescue efforts to just bypass us? We will let it sail right past us and not even say I need help, right? We as individuals, we have to understand, I know word will say things like, you know, emotional intelligence and things of that nature. But you can't have that if pride is running the ships of your life. If it's navigating the waters of your everyday being. We have to understand that, if pride goes before the fall, how far are we going to fall off the face of the earth? Not figuratively, not literally, but we have to understand that we are in need. We are in dire help as these storms are ramping up in our life. What is it going to take for us to say, you know what, we need the help, right? And some of us has even seen the beginnings of the storm, whether it's the strongness of the winds in our lives, the dark clouds that has been circulating our life uh everyday life. Cheeky, good evening. We have to foresee these things. We see them and we just like, all right, it's okay, but it's not okay if you don't take care of what you need to take care of, right? If you see them storm clouds, you have to expect rain. But because everybody think that rain is just going to be so light and so calm, so calm, and we don't expect the worst. But we also have to understand that There's always a possibility that things can get worse, and we never prepare for it. You know, we have to understand that, we should never expect the worst, but we should be prepared for it, right? So for those people, like, I'm pretty sure that those people got the broadcast, or the forecast rather, of a storm heading their way. They was able to prepare themselves, hopefully. They wasn't stubborn enough to say, you know what, the storm is coming right down my block, and I'm going to stay here and ride it out. And then most of those people probably sent their loved ones away and said, don't worry, I'm gonna hold the ship, I'm gonna hold it down. I think I could overcome a storm. You cannot overcome the pressures that of life that God gives to you. You understand? Like, you can't really overcome that because you don't know the severity of those storms that may be coming in your life. You know, we are all not like Noah, right? We were not all foretold that the storm is coming, build the ship, or whatever the case may be. We don't even have the spiritual intelligence to understand what that really meant. But let's not even go that far. Let's just keep it to the human side of things, right? We get caught up so much in that we can do so many things with just our individual selves that, like I said, the rain cloud is coming. You see the rain. Oh, this ain't bad. It's just the beginning of this. It's just the beginning. But we sit there. Now as that storm ramps up, we're stuck now. We're stuck. Like, we may not have nowhere to go. But you do have an opportunity because it's just the beginning. But we sit there. We could beat it. We could wait it out. We can do all of those things. No, when it's time for you to get away from a certain thing, you get away from a certain thing. The storms in your life you could get away from, whether it's the depressive state, the anxiety state, any type of emotional state that's making your season heavy. If it's the beginning for you, you got to take the sign and say, you know what, let me get out of here before it gets worse. But of course, our ego gets in the way once again. So we'll sit there and we'll see the wind start picking up. We'll see the tree swaying. Look, that tree is swaying. I can handle it too. We are not anchored the way that tree is anchored in our lives. Because if we was, we wouldn't really be worried about it. The strongest people that get through the storms is those that are grounded, that are rooted into a certain thing, whether it's God, whether it's whatever your spirituality is, whatever. You have to be rooted to where you understand that that storm is not going to sway you one way or another. But when you don't have those type of spiritual connections, emotional connections, you're going to be running around like a chicken with its head cut off. You can't survive life. You can't survive your storm without the calmness of an individual, yourself. You can't survive that type of thing. And because you don't have that calmness, you don't even understand. You're ramping up the storm yourself in your life. So what do? We'll sit there in that abusive relationship. We'll sit there in that penny pitching scenario. We won't try to survive it with whatever we have. Some of us even go out in the storm and try and make it worse for ourselves. Trying to go out there and work in the storm, knowing good and well you don't have no routes to get to your destination. But you going out in the storm, the wind is blowing you back. It's telling you to stay in the house, but you still sitting there. You sitting there trying to go through the storm. The wind is blowing you back. The thunder is very loud and rambunctious, and you like, I still can make it. I still can make it. No, that means for you, you got to wait out the storm. And it doesn't mean wait out the storm to where your doom and gloom is coming. You got to understand, even in that storm, you got to get yourself emotionally prepared. You got to get yourself spiritually prepared. It's never too late to change your stance in your storm. And as soon as that thing quiet down, you can get out of there. That's what you need to do. It's time for you to get away from that the physical abuse, the emotional abuse of that storm that you're going through. You don't have to wait it out. If there's an opportunity for you to get through that storm or get away from that storm, you got to jump in the metamorph. The, you have to jump in that car, not the real car, but you have to drive out of that situation. Push it and drive and step on the pedal. Not the literal sense, but you have to do that, right? But you got to understand where the storm is coming from in order to go. Because if you get in your car and you drive, you can be driving right into the eye of the storm. And that's what a lot of us have done in life. We have driven into the eye of the storm thinking that we can beat it, not understanding that we're driving right into it, head to head battle. And a lot of the time, we're not strong enough to beat it. It's very rare that a human being could drive into an eye of a storm and tell a story. Now, we are not hurricane, we're not those tornado seekers and all of those things to where we seeking that thing. Bless God, bless them. You know what I mean? Because they got some serious things going on. You know, they want to witness it head on. And I don't want to see nobody in a storm. I don't want to see nobody struggle. That's why I tell people all the time, man, if you going through something, man, please if I'm the last person on the planet Earth, reach out to me. However, you have to reach out to me because I don't want nobody to feel like their storm is so strong that nobody's able to reach out to them. I know I tried to reach out to certain people today, while that hurricane was traveling through Texas. And I thank God that, Tay reached her, she got on her, her premiere. She did her video or whatever. I know she's okay. I see Anti, she made her post. I'm glad she's okay. It doesn't matter what's going on in life. The fact that they're making it through their storms or through those storms, it's a blessing. It's a time and an opportunity for them to say, you know what, I made it through that storm. Let's hope and pray that they don't have to go through that no more. And I pray that for each and every one that has to go through a storm, like right now. Whoever's going through that storm, I pray that you get through it. Like I just said, I just extended my spiritual ear, not the physical one. But if you need somebody to talk to, reach out. I'm here. It could just be you talking. That could be the calmness of your storm. Like I just needed somebody to reach out to. I just needed somebody to vent to, even if it's just typing or whatever the case may be. You have to understand. You have to find a calmness in that storm, and then hopefully sooner or later it'll die down. It'll die down in your life. The winds will start to lighten up. The rain will start to lighten up. The dark clouds are starting to move away from you. You're starting to see a little bit of blue in them gray clouds. At the very end of the horizon, you can see it. But here's the question that I want y'all to ask, or I want y'all to answer. Do you think you're going to see a rainbow after that storm? Because here's the real truth. Some of us ain't going to see a rainbow after that storm. You want to know why? Because you ain't did nothing to change the predicament of the storm never coming back in your life. You haven't made the sacrifices for the storm not to come back in your life. Even after that physical abuse happens in your relationship, you don't see the dying down of the weather and then want to get out of there. So many of us would rather don't want to lose the time that we invested in that type of relationship. Sometimes you got to take a L. What we used to say in the streets, take one for the team. Guess what? You are a whole entire team sometimes. Each and every one of us. Like I'm a team. So I would have to sacrifice if I'm in an abusive relationship to get up out of there. Why? Because there's people that are counting on me to take the lead in my life. Whether it's my children, whether it's my siblings, whether it's, aunts or uncles, whoever it is. If I'm going through that type of scenario, we got to get out of there. There are many of us that's going through those mental storms. We got to get out of there. We got to find the calmness in the storm. We may have to change the scenery. Our house has been torn down. The foundation is still there for some of us. That's not the foundation that you want. That the fact that that storm tore your whole entire house up and left the foundation, it means you have to go somewhere else and restart over again in your life. You have to make a new foundation. Now, what the new foundation should be in your life is we can't allow ourselves to go through that thing again. But of course, there are some people like, you know what? I don't care. You can't tell me how to live my life. This message is not for you. Because at the end of the day, we understand that we can't tell you that. We understand that you're going to do what you want to do, right? But this is for those people that really wants a way out. Your storm is getting ready to end. The category 5 is down to a tropical storm. And if you don't understand what that's saying, that means the maximum speeds, the maximum winds has surpassed you. And you may have gotten away with just a scratch. Or you may just have yourself and only yourself to carry up out after that storm. But for you that are going through that, I really truly pray that there's a rainbow out there for you. The rainbow means it's not supposed to happen to you again. So you have to understand it's time to restart your life. But for those of you that has not seen that rainbow, it means that you ain't trying to leave whatever situation you in. That storm is going to happen again. And it may not happen tomorrow or it may not happen that next week. But you best to believe you in a storm path. The only way for you to get out of that storm path is for you to uproot yourself. You don't have to sit in the storm path, everybody. You can go somewhere, you can go to another state. I'm pretty sure there's people in Texas right now saying, you know what? I can't catch a break. This is the second time a storm or third time a storm has hit this part of the state. I need to get out of here. But there are those that'll sit there like, you know what? I made it through another one. I can. Man, these things ain't nothing. I can overcome these storms. God bless you. There are those that may not be able to go through those storms anymore. But it's up to you. It's up to you to decide, yo, I got to get out of here. Can't nobody love you more than you love yourselves. Can't nobody uh uh they can only add to they can only add to you. You can't have happiness. You can't look for somebody to make you happy. That thing has to come out of your storehouse. That thing has to be coming from you. If you don't have that, we can't expect other people to do that. But of course we do. We do because we don't understand that we are storehouses. We don't understand that the strength that God has given us is always from the inside. The fact that we don't listen to our first preacher, which is our conscience, we it's telling us, hey, it's time to go. It's time to go. It's time to go. This is our chance. But what we do, we sit there. No, I don't want to leave because I love her in men's cases, or I don't want to leave him in women cases, or whatever your cases are. Not, trying to be funny but y'all understand what I'm saying. Sometimes we stay there just because we don't want to lose that aspect of being alone, starting all over. Sometimes we have to start all over. We have to start over because if we don't start all over, that storm is going to be continuous. We have to figure out, yo, we need better days than this. You know, I'm pretty sure people going through, people living up in, upstate New York and Chicago and Detroit, they understand that from October to April, they're pretty much certain that there's a storm. They may get a snowstorm. They're bunkered down. They think they can handle that sometime. But as you get older, you get tired of those. You get tired of those snowstorms. You get tired of having to go out there and shovel. You get tired of the report. Hey, there's 60 inches of snow in this part of your town, and you sitting out there. I know I got the snow blower, but what if you forgot the gas? Now you got to bunker in. Some people get tired of those type of situations. Some people get tired of the fact that they have to, prepare for those type of things. This is why people decide to, move to the Southwest, whether it's, Arizona or the lower parts of New Mexico and California and all of those places, even the other side of Texas where they don't have to worry about those other storms like the hurricanes and the tornadoes and things like that. This is why people, don't mind living in certain states because they know they're not going to get that. But they also know that they ain't going to get those earthquakes like in California. There's storms, the storms that bruise in people's life. You don't know where they come from, but you trying to live your best life without the storms. But there are those who constantly go through a storm. Oh Lord, another storm is coming now. Oh my God, you trying to garden? You can't plant nothing. Your seeds ain't growing. You're bearing the wrong fruit because you planted the wrong seeds, all because you don't want to move. That's the storm that you're going through. I don't want to lose that person. Well, sometimes you gotta lose that person to gain yourself. Do you want to gain yourself? Those are the questions that you have to ask yourself. What am I gaining by going through this situation? You don't want to be alone. No, you don't want people to say I told you so's. This is what a lot of us do. That's why some of us go out there in them storms with no umbrella, no hoodie, no nothing, because we think that people going to throw it back in our face. Oh, I told you. No, when they love you, they love you. That door will always be open. But because you want to sit there and go through the storms all by yourself, unprepared, unsure that you that you can make it. You'll rather sit there in that storm. I'ma hide under the tree, but you forgot it's lightning out there. You know it's a good probability that jet lightning may hit your tree. I don't care if it's one out of 1,000. You could be that one. It's time for us to be prepared for our storms. You see those dark clouds, start preparing for it. If you can get up out of there before the storm occurs, it's time for you to go. You don't have to sit in the rut. You don't have to sit in the mud. We are better people than that. We have to understand that there is so much that we present to ourselves, but we got to find it within ourselves. Like I said earlier, you are the storehouse. You are a blessing. It may not be in that certain time in that predicament, but you are a blessing. You got to reassure yourself that there are better days, but it can't be better if you're sitting in storm. It's never going to be better until that storm is over. So as that storm is winding down in your lives, I truly hope that you guys understand that it really is winding down. What are you going to do when the storm is over? Are you going to go out there and check the rest of your house? Oh well, it was just a couple window blown. Yeah, but now the windows are blown. You ain't got the money to get them fixed. So guess what that means? It could be an infestation of bugs. It could be the fact that a wind cloud could come in and just blow right through your house and knock your dishes out, and so on and so forth. The minor things can become major. We all understand that because we all gone through that. So we can't just sit there as this storm is coming in our lives or still in our or is in the midst of our lives. Like we got it all together. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of people in Texas that boarded up their windows. That it ain't gonna blow or at least the windows ain't gonna come out of that wind. But now the waters is up to your daggone roof, up to your first floor, up to your second floor. How do you prepare for that? We don't prepare for all things. But the thing that you could do is get yourself into safety first. Some of us could afford to lose a home. Some of us could afford to lose that car because the flood water got in our engine. But the one thing that a lot of us can't afford to lose is the individual, the person that was so stubborn that he rather get swallowed up in the flood waters or collapse, get caught in the collapse of the roof, or the shattering of the glass that it hits a major artery. Sometimes it may sound like that's ridiculous. That's that's one of those that's one of those predicaments that's very rare. You don't know what life has in store for you. But this is the one thing that you do know. If you away from it all, it can't happen to you. If you know a storm is coming and you can get away from it, you get away from it. Lady Shay says, always gotta stay ready. Won't have to get ready. How preparation rule intentions. And that's what I'm trying to say. The best way to prepare for it is to not be involved with it in the first place. Because those things were forecast in our lives. And a lot of us disregard the forecast. I hear that it's going to rain, but it don't sound bad. But yet, still in all, you don't know what Mother Nature is unpredictable. Is a possibility that it may happen. Is a possibility that it may be stronger than what they say. It may be a possibility that it ain't. But what you got to do is take it under advisement. A lot of us don't even take the storm clouds under advisement. Oh, they ain't gonna do nothing. There's only gonna be a half an inch of rain. Now that half an inch turns into 500 inches in your life. And that thing is smothering you. You over there, you think you could float through the 500 inches. Nah, that thing is pulling you down. Because what you don't understand is if it's 500 inches, that means there's a current that's going to occur because there has to be some type of water that's going to flow into your life. Yeah, Commander, having cyclones. All right, we got the cyclone coming. That thing blowing and blowing and blowing. Oh, it ain't going to hit me at the, you know, we well invested with the trees. No, the tree might fall down on your house. Now you ain't got nowhere to stay. And a lot of us, as much as we penny pitch, we don't even have insurance on our mental thoughts. The hell with the house. You don't have the mental insurance on yourself. But you think you can get through it all by yourself. You think you can do these things by yourself. And you're not even meant to be by yourself. We always tell somebody there's somebody out there for you. But if there's somebody out there for you, that means you're not meant to be going through this by yourself. Those are the things that we have to understand. But you have to be in the right place at the right time for that thing to occur. You ain't gonna find nobody in your storm. You understand what I'm saying? How you finding somebody in your storm? You think Superman just gonna fly down there and stop the tree from falling on your house? That ain't happening. You know what I mean? So you got to understand what this thing is. Hey, Meek, you got to understand that even as your storm is coming around, you have to understand if you can get out of there, you can save yourself. Save yourself. Stop worrying about the material things in life. Worry about you. You are the material. You are the important thing that can be lost. That's my message to you. You can be lost in the storm. You could be taken out by those storm clouds because of all of the things that occur with the storm clouds, the thunder, the lightning, the heavy winds, and all of those things. You could be lost. Good evening, Lisa. You could be lost in this thing. We have to stop taking these things for granted. We have to stop saying, well, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. By the time it get better, you're so weak that you can't enjoy the better part of the storm is over. You probably can't even understand that even if you see that rainbow, you won't be able to make it. You won't be able to see it. You may not even understand that it's right there for you, all because you have been weakened by your storms in your everyday life. We have to do better. We have to understand. We have to take those alerts much more serious. When they tell you to bunker down, you bunker down. When they tell you to get up out of there, get up out of there. You can always have a home is what you make it. You know what that means? You gotta make it. You gotta be there to make it a home. You gotta be the one to say, you know what? That's just a building. I make it a home. If you understand that, you're going to do the best that you can to avoid all of those type of situations. Oh, I can't leave them because I invested so much time in them. Oh, you don't understand what I had to go through to get. I don't want to understand what you had to go through. No disrespect to what you went through. We want to see better days. We want to see you in the sunny days. We rather see you in the heat wave than the storms that's going on in your life right now. You can always find shade for the sun, but those storms that you going through, your house is not safe. You got to decide what's best for you right here, right now. There may be a break in your storm. I keep telling y'all, Noah had to go through those things for months at a time, and even when it stopped, he was just floating in the ocean or the sea or whatever they wanted to call it at that particular time. You still stuck because now he was stuck on the boat. He had to send the birds out. Excuse me. The raven came back. The raven didn't even come back when it was time to come back. But there's always somebody coming out to search for you. There's always somebody coming out to try to see if you okay. Stop rejecting those people. Stop rejecting the olive branches that dove is coming back for you with or coming to you with. Don't reject it. Embrace it because it means that somebody took the time to say, you know what? I'm gonna go through these storms. I remember I was in Hurricane Sandy. Man, if you would have seen the things that storm did in Queens, New York, man, nobody had cell phones. Cell phones were out. Cars were flooded. Buildings is the water's up to second floors, and there's people sitting in the second floor or roofs. Like, yo, we need help. Stand by, stand by. You got a phone? Yeah, but the towers are down. Those storms can be like that. I'm pretty sure New York. I know New York is like, yo, that's was serious. Yeah, you didn't think it could happen to you, but guess what? It happened to somebody. Stop thinking you can control nature. At the end of the day, only Mother Nature knows what's happening with her attributes. We can't control her. What we can do, we could make sure that ourselves, each and every one of us here, are not going through those storms. You don't have to be in an abusive relationship, physically, mentally, emotionally. You don't have to be there for that. You got to take that L. I promise you, it's just a battle. If you win the war, that's just what it was. That was just a bump in the road. That little storm that you went through with Peter or Jane. That's just a storm. I mean, that's just a bump. That's just a little light little storm. Now you can get up and say, you know what? I'm moving to where the hurricanes don't occur. But you got to make sure that there's no earthquakes that can occur there either. I'm gonna make sure that I'm not in the mountains where the tornadoes come. You just better make sure that you're in the clear of everything that may be happening to you. Quick question: why does a storm have to be bad? Most storms are bad, Lady Shade, because there's always damage being done. I don't know about you, but I've never heard of good damage. It's just like me when I say I don't like change because you can change for the worse. I use the word improve. That's why storms are always something to worry about. I've never heard of a good storm. You never heard of nothing good happening in an ice storm for those that are up north that go through those type of situations. Earthquake is a natural disaster. There's nothing good about an earthquake. Something is being moved in your life. Some of your foundation is being rocked out. A tornado. A tornado ain't even influenced by water. It's just a gust of wind that occurs. And even when that occurs, it takes out homes. It takes out roofs. It takes out, stories of homes. All you got is a foundation. There's nothing good about those type of storms. You can't. What could you get out of a storm? If you want to say you can get a fresh start, that's cool. But look what you got to bring with you: the bad trauma of the storm. It's okay. A lot of us always have to make the best out of a bad situation. But the fact that the bad situation occurred is make the best of just the best start. Not even the best start because you have to carry that baggage with you. Like, damn, I just went through that storm. Damn, I got away, but damn it, I gotta carry that trauma with me. I gotta carry the fact that he physically abused me or emotionally abused me or vice versa, or she physically abused me or she psychologically abused me. But I got a new start, but you're still carrying that baggage. So to answer your question, Lady Shay, that's why, you know, that's why for me, I could only answer for myself. A storm is bad because if it was good, nobody would, everyone would embrace it. Like I said, you always got those storm chasers. They embrace that type of thing. You know what that means? They want to see what the chaos and destruction does. They ain't going to sit there. Well, you survived it. How do you feel? You better not ask that question because they might get punched in their face. What the hell are you asking me that question for? When you see that I don't got a home, it's people that lose. It's people that lose pets in that type of situation that never recover from it. So that's why that storms have to are bad for the most part. Those type of storms are always bad. You be thankful that you made it, but now you gotta what you gotta do? You gotta recover now. Now the recovery stages begin. Now you gotta figure out how to get from there, how to get through it, how to restart your life, how to how to build a new foundation, how to start anew. All of those things will always come into your mind, especially when you lose. And a lot of us is losing in these storms in our everyday life. We saw the red flags. We bypassed the red flags. We thought it was pretty. We thought he was cute. We thought she was fly. Not even understanding that man, she is a storm waiting to happen. Trigger if you want. Give her the right conditions so she can go off. Give him the right conditions so he can go off. Man, look, your chandeliers is blowing and there's not a breeze in your house, but it's the chandeliers moving. Why is my chandelier moving? It ain't an earthquake. There's no earthquake because your house is not moving. You see what I'm saying? Those are the signs that yo, something's wrong. And because it's so brief that we bypass that, we'll overlook those type of things. You know what I mean? We forget about the fact that hey, that was an incident that happened, but I bypassed it because it was over with that quick. It's just like if you step on a pebble, we can get over the pebble, but now during the day, yo, my foot hurt, and I forgot. Well, I don't even know what I did. I did step on the pebble. Now you're going through the pains of the pebble in your foot. You see what I mean? Those are the type of things that happen in our life. Those are the things that we have to overcome. Those are the things we have to bypass. We have to make sure that those things are being seen. If you see a red flag, investigate it. Don't just say, "Well, it was that brief. It was this or it was that." That's not how we get through these type of things. Word says the only good thing about damage, it can make you stronger. Like damaging your muscles, grow them bigger. Yeah, but people don't know how to overcome those traumas, and that's the thing that I'm talking about. You can overcome a storm. You can overcome the storm. We're not saying that you can't overcome the storm. But like Word is saying, is your mental capacity strong enough to get you through those storms? Are your spiritual strengths, are they strong enough to get you through those storms? Is your emotional intelligence strong enough to get you through those storms? Those are the things that you got to have in order to overcome. Those are the things that allow the best to come out of a bad situation. Those could be your foundations. But do you have the capacity to do that? Do you have the strength to understand that, yo, I can't go through these type of things. I can't survive that type of gust of wind. People just telling me anything and I'm just going with the gust of wind. and not even understanding where the wind is coming from. You can see the wind is blowing from east to west. You standing east like it can't blow you away. Instead of you moving north to get out of the breeze's way, the storm, the wind's way. Instead of you moving, you standing right in front of it and talking about, well, why is my thing going off? Well, why is my shirt moving, or why is my blouse keep going up? Because you're standing in the storm's way. You have to understand it's time to move. It's time to get out of that wind's way. But we stand there because we think we're overcomers that don't even have the capacity of overcoming a hill of beans, let alone the storm that's coming in our lives. We don't have that capacity, you know? And that's the thing that we have to understand. We're not built for certain storms, but we think we can. Chiki said we used to have bad ice storms in PA. And that's what I'm saying, shout out to those, mid Atlantic and northern people. Cause like I tell you, when I used to live upstate New York, man, I'm telling you, from the time October hits to about the beginning of May, you could book that you're gonna get some snow. And if you live in a certain like you live in Niagara Falls or Rochester or Buffalo, you can pretty much book at least 100 inches of snow a year. Who wants to live through that all the time? But there are people that, oh, I'm accustomed to it, so I ain't gonna move. Wouldn't you want to know what it's like not to have to shovel for winters at a time? And those people that live in Miami, wouldn't you like to know what it's like not to worry about if a hurricane is going to come by you all the time? But like I said, we all think we're overcomers. We can overcome all of these things. It only takes one time for you not to overcome it. Guess what you're going to do? I can't do it no more. It's time to go. But the signs has been showing you. The storms have been coming through. What happened? What changed it? Oh, it finally got to you. Now it'll rupture your whole entire life. And those are the things that we have to understand. You know, we have to understand that what you say, Meek, is after the storm that makes it great. You survive, new opportunities, a mindset. Yeah, but the mind, you may have that mindset, but the fact is, you may have that good out of the bad situation, but I promise you, everybody's not strong enough to leave the trauma behind them, and that's where they go wrong. They have to go through that trauma, and because they go through the trauma, they don't even see the good thing that came out of the storm. So those are the things that you have to really worry about and overcome, and things of that nature. So you gotta understand what it is. Everybody's not built to be storm chasers. To me, as much beauty as nature possess in those storms, I don't want to see it because I might get caught up get caught at the wrong place at the wrong time, and that'll traumatize them people. Well, I got caught up in the storm and it picked me up, and you ain't even gonna be able to tell a story. But you want to chase a tornado. I want to see what the tornado do in 150 F5 tornado. Good luck with that, sir. I see the destruction on the news. I don't want to see it up close because your car may not make it out of that F5. You know what I mean? I'd rather read about it than go through it. Those are one of those times you shouldn't want to experience a lesson. You should just observe and learn it. But there are people that do that, though. Commander said, Lady Shea, respectfully, you might not have been through a storm that almost breaks you. It batters you physically, emotionally, mentally, and everything. Commander, I totally understand that. And when you feel like you by yourself, you feel like nobody's going to understand your story. You feel like nobody's going to be able to hear what you're saying or listen to understand it. So what do? You'll probably stay there and try to pick up those pieces. I got to restart my life in this shattered situation. But once that storm is over, that's why I'm asking people, are you seeing the rainbow? If you're not seeing that rainbow, that means you're not trying to get away. You know that that's going to happen again in your life. That's the significance, or that's the symbol of the rainbow that is spoken about in many religions, whether it's the Bible, the Quran, or whatever religion it is. That rainbow means it's not supposed to happen again. But if you don't see it, even if you're not religious, even if you don't have that mindset, it's a very good possibility that it could happen again. It's not, it's a reflection that's going to tell you that you may be going through that storm again and again and again. You have to make your own rainbow. Let me get the hell away from this so this don't happen again. But because we're afraid to lose, but because we don't want to lose the time that we spent with that situation, that person, or whatever the case may be. You rather stay there and pick up the pieces, and that's, you know, God bless you. But you have to understand there are people that love you that will want to rescue you. You can't just keep allowing the rescue missions, the missionaries, or however you want to put it, to keep going by you. They know that your storm is going to get this. You're, you're in the destructive zone. We trying to rescue you from it, and there are people that still sitting there like, you know what? I'm okay. You're not okay. You don't have no water. You sitting in water thinking that you got water. That's not the water that you need. You can't cook with that water. You can't bathe in that water. You sitting in flooded water. You sitting in flooded grounds. Your foundation is being weakened by the amount of water that's on top of it. And a lot of it might be because you shedding tears. You know what I mean? Metaphorically, not physically. Y'all know what I'm saying. And that's the thing that we have to understand. We carry baggage. We choose not to be healed and delivered from. Trauma is not God. We have to renew our minds, just like that structure after the storm. And that's what I'm saying. But you don't have, some of us don't have the emotional intelligence, the mental intelligence, the mental strength. That's why I appreciate you guys commenting, because y'all all hitting the aspects of life. Words said you need the muscle to go through it. You saying the emotional, the trauma, but all of that takes strength. You got to overcome those situations with strength. If you don't overcome it with strength, you just stuck in a rut, and you just sitting there. You're going to rebuild what? You're going to rebuild on sinking ground. You know your house ain't going to last on sinking ground, and that's the thing. You have to understand where that thing goes when the storms come, and it takes away certain aspects of your life. You don't understand the trauma that it leaves you when you see that your roof is ripped apart from you. That's why they tell you to go and bunker down, so you don't have to see the trauma. You see it afterwards, and then you can worry about it. Like, damn, that's when you make your decision. Do I want to stay and rebuild, or do I understand I don't have it? Because a lot of us don't have the insurance because we can't pay the insurance. Whether it's, I'm not talking about the financial insurance. I'm talking about the mental insurance, the emotional insurance. We don't put stock into that because we're all okay. I don't have to worry about that and this, that, and the third. Yes, you do. You got to have the emotional insurance. Say, you know what? I could walk away even if my head ain't all the way up. At least I can keep my head up to see that there's something ahead of me that I can go ahead and go get away from the situation from. But a lot of us don't have that emotional insurance. What do? We keep our head down, our mouth closed, and we sit there and go through it once again. We don't have the mental capacity to say, I could overcome this mental abuse. We sit there, we close our eyes, we lay there and think that we open our eyes, things are gonna get better. We ain't moved an inch. These are the things that we are talking about. Like I said, I'm glad that those people in Texas have gotten through those storm. Like I said, I'm glad that Tay got through it, Anti got through it. A girl, let's talk. She hopefully got through this. I haven't heard from her, but the fact is, there are people that are not getting through these storms, that type of storm, and there's not people. There's a lot of people not getting through the storms that I'm talking about right now. There are people that's still lingering from the storm, even if they got away from it. They can't let the baggage go. They are still holding on to the trauma of yesterday because that storm is still brewing in their mind. They can't let it go. And those are the things, that's what I'm saying. You got to have that mental insurance, that emotional insurance, the physical insurance. But if you don't have none of that, you're going to always succumb to your storm. You don't have that anchor to say, you know what, I'm going to hold you down until you get yourself better. We refuse to have that because we're not preparing ourselves for that type of thing. Build your house strong and keep good maintenance on it. Yeah, you have to have the maintenance. You got to have, yeah, that's what I'm saying, the insurance of it all. If you don't have the mental insurance to say, you know what, I can overcome the fact that he was playing with my mentality, my mental states, you're not going to overcome it. Replace the old rotten wood, secure your property. Yeah, that's Commander. I agree with you 100%. I knew you would want to be a storm chaser, Meek. Look at you, and how that worked out for you. You went now. You in a storm now. Now you in a gentle breeze now, Meek. And I could guarantee you this because you've been through those past storms. Now the gentle breeze is worrying you now because everything's too good to be true, huh? You see what I'm saying? Because you're still carrying it on to the baggage of yesterday. That's the thing I be telling people. Not you per se, but I'm just saying, even when something good is happening, that person that's still holding on to that trauma, oh, it's too good to be true. I'ma wait for him or her to mess up so I can get away and say, you know what, I knew you was gonna do that. That's a storm in your life that you ain't never got over. And those are the things that I be saying about, like we have to you, you got to understand how traumatic a storm can actually be. Not the little drizzle, but the heavy rains. The one that produces the hail because they just thought it was going to be rain. Now the rain is chipping at your windshield. You driving and now your windshield is being pink, 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 and now you got to pull over and oh, I hope I can wait it out. I hope now you 3 hours late from your destination. You had to delay your destination 3 hours. But instead of you not being prepared and understanding that you wasn't supposed to go out there in that hailstorm, you went out there anyway because I can overcome that. And you got to sit there with the delay. Now you mad that you went out there in the storm and got caught in a delay. Some storms ain't worth going through. The trees that last the storms have deep. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Those rooted trees, we don't even have those roots in our minds and our emotions and our souls and our bodies to understand why those trees do that. Most people don't even understand the way that a tree sprouts up is the way that they sprout down in the ground. Nobody takes the time to study that type of scenario. But because, we just go by, what our eyes could see, because our eyes could see fool's gold and think that it's gold. They can see that the grass is green on the other side, but not understand that that grass is fake. You see what I mean? This is why I say you got to understand what's happening around you. Go and survey your area before you invest in it. Before you plant your foundation in it, go and invest your area. Is this a place to where there's not a lot of tornadoes coming? Is this a place that if a typhoon comes, it don't reach the land? Is this a place to where there may be a hurricane every once in a while, but will I be able to make it? I'm telling y'all, woke up a lot of people. Manhattan is a whole entire island. They was nervous as hell. Anybody from New York would tell you, yo, that was yeah, that was for real. Yeah, because you've been told, you forgot about Hurricane Gloria, you forgot about Hurricane Hugo, Andrew, all of those other storms, because Sandy made those look like it was just a spritz of rain. Nah, that's what it looked like. But when Sandy came, Sandy took some people out. Sandy made people handicapped. That's what a storm can do to you because you don't have the strength to overcome those things because you wasn't prepared for it. And that's all we're trying to tell y'all. Be prepared when those alarms go off, when those storm clouds. I mean when those alerts, they tell you, listen, get out of there. This is potentially being dangerous. You got to take heed. Now, if you think you're strong enough to do it, you stand there. Hopefully, you win. A lot of people do, but there's some that don't. That's all I'm telling you guys. I know the word is get ready to start his live in a minute, but I'm just, I'm just saying these are the type of things that we have to go through. Don't go chasing the storm in a Nissan sedan. That's what. That's like you chasing it in the little Sentra. Oh, I'm gonna chase it in the Sentra, the 4 cylinder. No, good and well that thing. Yeah, it takes on good gas, but boy, you got to really step on that thing for it to move. You know what I mean? Queen Motivation. Good evening. I didn't even see you. I'm sorry. How are you? It's just the fact that we have to go through those things. If we go through those things, we can allow ourselves to understand the do's and don'ts of the storm. But I truly hope, that as those people are, you know, going through their storms, they understand, their foundations may be, a little bit unease because of the water weight and the way the house is moving around or whatever the case may be. We have to make sure ourselves that our foundation, even if it's shaking up, sometimes we have to pick our ball up and go to a new home. And that's the thing that we have to understand. Sometimes the storms make us do that. And when it does make us do that, we got to get up out of here. We got to make sure that we are on safe ground to begin anew. We may have lost a piece of our in that relationship, but we can always get out of that storm and start anew. Do you have the strength to go ahead and do that? Do you have the emotional fortitude, the mental fortitude, the physical fortitude to go ahead and go forward? These are the questions that you have to ask yourself. These are the questions that you have to prepare when these alerts and storms occur. Don't wait for the news at 11 to tell you. You can watch that from somewhere else. Oh, let me look on the internet and see what happened in my town. Oh, we got 5.0 earthquake. Just imagine how the people in New York just had an earthquake. Some people didn't feel it. Some people felt that like, wait a minute, that was a little too close to home. Don't think that because no houses fell down, that didn't affect somebody. It woke some people up. Don't allow the storm to be so loud to where you only caught a portion of it. Get up and move out of the way of the storm while you can. And those are the things that we have to understand. You got to get out of there before it gets too much. You know, that's how I know I'm over that storm. That hasn't even been a thought what someone did before. When you over that storm, meet that allows you to go forward, like you said. Now that you went forward, now you can understand that gentle breeze is just that, a gentle breeze. It's not a, oh my God, it's getting breezy. Oh my God, the wind is picking up. You don't get nervous under a gentle breeze. You embrace the gentle breeze. You don't have to worry if you see the gray clouds coming. Okay, you can look and say, well, those blue skies is moving those gray skies out the way. Most people see the storm cloud. They, oh my God, we have to prepare. Come on, let's go to the store. You know how many people hunker down? They be hunkering down. Yo, we need toilet paper. We got to buy batteries. We got to have the candles. We got to have this. We got to have that. And then get mad that the storm wasn't that severe. You should be glad that it's always good to overprotect yourself than underprotect. But there's so many people that's so worried about losing something that they don't understand the good that they got away from. That's the type of people that we need to be. Those are the type of people we need to be going forward. But like I said, even though I titled the thing wrong because I wasn't going to do the live because my some people were on live and anybody that knows me knows that I don't like to get in people's way. But sometimes you just gotta push talk before that thing gets lost in the sauce. You know what I mean? You want to know exactly the ingredient that makes you come on here and speak what's in your heart, what's on your mind, what's in your soul. And sometimes you do it for the right reasons, but trying to be good, try to worry about other people, it's always a good thing. But sometimes, especially in this case, I hope that the message was more important than me being gentle enough to not display or put the message out because there are other people on the platform doing their thing. So, I just, as much as you want to be the best you, sometimes you can't let the overcrowdedness of a storm block that sunlight, which is the message that I hopefully am putting out there for somebody to receive a word for them. Because there's too many people going through storms, and a lot of them don't even see the sunlight that's coming for them. They don't even believe that a rainbow exists because their storm has been brewing for so long. But as I said in the beginning, and as I close out, I will always say this to all of my people that support me. There are testimonies that can say that my word is golden. If you have a problem, if you are going through something, even if I'm the last person on the planet that you think about, I am here for you if you need me to be there. Even if it's just to have a conversation, just to vent, like, man, this thing was holding, I've been holding this in for so long. But damn, I feel good having that conversation. You having a storm in your own body, but you're holding on to it and holding on to it and holding on to it. They say pressure busts pipes. So what do you think an aneurysm is? Even though that your body is not a pipe, your veins are built like it. A blockage will allow that to happen. So, with that being said, everybody, I truly appreciate you guys coming through. Meek said, when you after the one who else is live, doesn't matter. And it's not disrespect. I agree, Meek. That's why, I ended up doing this for that reason, because at the end of the day, you know, you try to be respectful, but sometimes the message is the obedience to the sacrifice of that respect that you may have for somebody else. That's why I told you earlier that as I always tell you, your obedience is always better than your obedience is the sacrifice of time. So if I didn't do it, I lose this message. Somebody may be going through it still. I'm not saying it's going to reach everybody that it hears, but I know there's one that needs it. So I have to do what I have to do. Be easy, realists. But thank y'all for, taking the time to hear the message. If it falls on good ears, God bless you. If it doesn't fall on good ears, God bless you. As I always tell y'all, the message is on the table. My verbal pamphlet is on the table. If it's for you to use, pick it up and use it. If it's not, allow it to be there for someone that really needs it. You know. Thank you, Commander, for the kind words. Uh, you know, word, you're supposed to be going live right now, homie. Go on over there and start your thing. But with that being said, I truly appreciate you guys. You know, like I said, hopefully it touched somebody, it resonates with somebody, it helps somebody. You know, until next time, guys, I'm out.